I believe that we are at a pivotal moment in our nation's history. We have come to a place where the status quo of government has gone on way too long. And we have come to a place as well where, truthfully, the potential of the people of this great nation is being crushed by the weight, the power, the corruption, the ineptitude of the government of this nation. And ladies and gentlemen, here is the truth. This has been going on for a very long time. Every government agency has gotten bigger and gotten more money for 40-plus years under, sadly, Republicans and Democrats alike. We have been tangling people's lives up in webs of dependence from which they cannot escape, even if they want to, for a very long time. We have been failing to serve those who serve us. We have been failing our veterans for at least 2 decades, a shame and a stain on our nation's honor. We are witnessing now the destruction of opportunity in America. For the first time in U.S. history, we are now destroying more businesses than we are creating. Think about that. We are destroying more businesses than we are creating. And guess what? It's not big business that's hurting. Big business really does great with big government. It's called crony capitalism. And the bigger and the more powerful, the more corrupt that big federal government gets, the better it is for big business. Because they can hire the accountants, the lobbyists, the lawyers to manage all that complexity. Think about the consequence of Dodd-Frank. 10 banks on Wall Street too big to fail have become 5 banks on Wall Street too big to fail, and meanwhile thousands of community banks have been driven out of business. The businesses that we are destroying are the businesses that give most people in this nation their opportunity. So when you get yourself out of that web of dependence, where do you go? Most Americans go to a small business, a family-owned business, like the one I started out in, that 9-person real estate firm where I typed and filed. My husband Frank started out as a tow truck driver in a family-owned auto body shop in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It is these small, these family-owned businesses, new businesses, that create 2/3 of the jobs in this nation and employ half the people. So we are destroying opportunity with the weight of this government, just as we are tangling people's lives up in those webs of dependence. Every day we open the newspaper and see yet another story of government ineptitude. Yes, it is a strong word. But honestly, when the TSA fails 96% of the time, what else to call it? When the IRS in 2015 says, so sorry, we can't answer taxpayers' questions because we need more money to man the phones, that is called ineptitude. When we learn that government labs have been shipping live anthrax around for 10 years, that is called ineptitude. It goes on and on and on. And when we learn that the Office of Personnel Management has been breached by the Chinese and our most sensitive information stolen, let me tell you why that's called ineptitude. I chaired the advisory board at the Central Intelligence Agency for several years. I've advised Secretaries of Defense and Homeland Security and State. I can tell you that we have known with certainty for at least the last 12 years that the Chinese have been trying to hack into our federal government systems and databases. We can do this. We're the most powerful nation in the world, but not with a government that has grown so bureaucratic that it is inept at its most basic functions. Why has this gone on for so long? Why have we come to settle for this? Recall that ours was intended to be a citizen government. It is what by, for, and of the people means. 82% of the American people in a recent poll, 82% of the American people now believe we have a professional political class that is more focused on the preservation of its title, privilege, prestige, and stature than it is on doing the people's work. You know, sometimes people aren't able aren't courageous enough, aren't experienced enough to challenge the status quo. But ladies and gentlemen, we now need a leader in the Oval Office that understands their job is to challenge the status quo of this vast, powerful, bureaucratic, corrupt, inept federal government. And of course, no